Hello, all my Pisces, and welcome to your July 2017 love reading by Divine Love Tarot. Okay, if this is your first time joining me on this channel, I really appreciate it. I'm very new to YouTube, so I am very grateful and appreciative of each and every person who gives me a chance. And if you're returning from a previous reading, then thanks for coming back, and I'm glad you're here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into the reading. It's going to be another past, present, and future spread, okay? And the cards have already been shuffled, so let's go ahead and see what we have going on this month, Pisces. This is my birth month also, so I'm excited to see what the cards have in store for me as well, okay? So the first card we have in the past position is the Ace of Wands. The next card we have in the past position is the Queen of Pentacles. And the next card we have in the past position is the Six of Cups. Okay, so the Ace of Wands represents like a new personal beginning, right? All aces represent beginnings. But the Ace of Wands, because it's a fire energy, it's more of like a stimulator. Okay, so whenever you see the Ace of Wands, it basically sparks something. So this could represent the beginning of a relationship or the beginning of a sexual relationship, because the Ace of Wands represents like a fire energy as well. But this is, it's a spark, right? In the past position, it represents a time where you possibly took a risk. All right, you just decided to throw caution to the wind and you just went for things. All right, and looking for my pen, so I'm gonna keep using my fingers. Okay, so it could represent a very sexual time in your relationship, okay, or the start of a sexually charged relationship. In the past position, whatever this spark was or whatever this event was that occurred, it does have an effect on your current situation, whether it be good or bad, okay? So let's go ahead and move on to the next card, and it's the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles represents a practical queen, okay? Once again, it's a very feminine energy. She represents cozy home life and just like an earthy feminine nature. All right, so in the past, this can represent a serious relationship, okay? Or this could have been your energy in the past. You could have represented the Queen of Pentacles in the relationship, okay? But if it does represent a relationship, it means it was a time where things were cozy and comfortable and there was some type of stability, all right? Yeah, it's just basically, um, you know, whether you were faithful or you were committed, your heart was all in it, okay, in this position. Now we move on to the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups is a card that can represent nostalgia, okay, maybe a simpler time. Sometimes it can represent childhood or children. All right, so maybe children are somehow affecting your relationship. All right, but it just represents an innocent, playful time. So in the past position, it can symbolize that maybe you're spending too much time thinking about the past. All right, you could be thinking about a past relationship, or maybe a lover from the past is trying to come back to you now. Okay, that's another thing that this card can represent. It can also represent a time where you might have acted immaturely, okay? Or you're reflecting back to something and you're thinking that you could have perhaps behaved or responded in a more mature manner, all right? So maybe you need to take things more seriously, all right? And this card is asking you to focus on the future, focus on now, basically leave the past in the past. That's what this card is asking you to do. So let's go ahead and see what we've got going on in our present position. Okay, so the first card in the present position is the Nine of Swords. The next card in the present position, Lord have mercy, is the Five of Swords. And, oh Lord, the Five of Pentacles, okay? So currently, there's a lot of stuff going on in your head, Pisces. You're worried about something, you're concerned, okay? This is the card of fear, worry, stress, okay, confusion, anxiety. feeling like a failure. Okay, all those feelings and more negative feelings are represented by this card. The thing about this card, though, it may not necessarily be what someone else is going through. You are internalizing something. You may be overanalyzing a situation. I mean, obviously there is some sort of conflict going on in your current situation, but maybe not as bad as you are making it out to be. Or this card can also represent that you're kind of feeling guilty for something that you've done. Okay. And that's what's keeping you up. That's what's causing this internal strife and worry. But the nine of swords, it just kind of represents whatever issues, okay, that are keeping you up at night. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're being open and honest and discussing these issues with your partner. So a lot of time this worrying is kind of unnecessary. All right. But this symbolizes that something is off in your relationship and you're concerned about it. Okay. Whether you caused it or you didn't cause it, it's still causing you to worry. So now we move on to the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords represents conflicts. It represents tension, inconsistent behavior. All right. So right now, you may be engaged in some type of conflict or issue with your partner, or you're conflicted about what to do next. Your feelings are conflicted. All right. This card is asking you to try to move past the conflict and identify the cause of your issues and diffuse the situation, or maybe like diffuse any power struggles that you have going on that's causing this conflict and causing this worry and your concern. um but this card is a wake-up call, basically to have an open and honest discussion with your partner. Okay. And especially in this position, this basically, even though this is your present position and it's probably very uncomfortable, all these cards are opportunities for you to turn a situation around. All right. Maybe if we had the 10 of swords here, you'd be saying that it's the end, or the 8 of swords, then it's time to kind of move on. But I feel like these cards here, you still have the opportunity to work things out. All right. But whatever the struggles are, and all relationships go through struggles, so it's not very many that can avoid them. So maybe it's just a period that you're going through now, and that's perhaps why you had the Six of Cups, okay, where you were thinking back to a more pleasant situation or pleasant time, or perhaps thinking back to a different partner. All right. You've got the Queen of Pentacles, so you're remembering a time when things were maybe more stable for you, and you had a more committed type of relationship. And then the Ace of Wands, whatever this spark was, is what's brought you here. So I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and finish with this card, because it could represent, if you're maybe seeing someone that is seeing someone else. Okay. If you're dating somebody who is already in a relationship, then these cards can represent the unbalance in your emotions and just the conflict that you have, because um, you're not being realistic about the relationship. Like, and this is just one aspect. This is just one person. This is just one group of people that this could be pertaining to. This is not everybody, but I'm trying to connect some of the dots here, and um, you know that's kind of what I'm seeing. You're thinking back, and this card right now is asking you to pay attention to what's going on now. Okay, get your head out of the past. The past is gone. You can have good times again. You can be happy again, but you have to work on it now. There's something that needs to be discussed right now. So we move on to the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles in a relationship represents dissatisfaction, okay? You're focusing on the lack. You're focusing on what's missing. You're not really paying attention to what you have that's good. All right, this card can represent a loss of faith. And in the present position, this card is asking you to open your eyes, okay? There's something right in front of you that you're not seeing or paying attention to. Okay, so this card is asking you to be honest about whatever you need out of a relationship. Are your needs being met in this relationship? All right. And so that's why you possibly are conflicted, because if you're not being honest with yourself, all right, you're staying up nights because subconsciously you know something's off. Okay. You're maybe having conflicts with your partner, or your conflict with yourself, because you know that there's more, there's something missing, or you feel like there's something missing. There could be nothing missing. You could just be stressing out, because I'm a Pisces, and sometimes we do that. We worry about shit there's nothing to worry about. I'm guilty of it, I know. But if there is something, you have to address it. You have to talk about it. This both of these cards are asking you. This card, you're feeling it, okay? It's killing you. So really, there, you don't really have a choice but to address it, okay? Because how can you continue? Look at the imagery in each of these cards. Here, you're kind of like tied up. All right, your mind is just tied up with these, consumed with these thoughts, negative thoughts. Here, you can actually see the conflict. You can see the struggle, and there's nothing worse than internal conflict and struggle, because who are you gonna argue with? Unless you're gonna walk around like a crazy person on the street, who are you gonna tell? And here, obviously, someone in this relationship is hurting. Okay, but look at the other person. It's not like this person's hurting alone. Look right in front of you. There's someone here to help you. All right, this card is also asking you to put your pride aside. Don't don't miss out on an opportunity because you're too proud to speak up. Because you're too proud to admit that you might possibly be wrong. You're too proud to admit that you did something possibly that led you to this place here that you are now. You're regretting it, and you don't know how to say it. All right, and that's just, again, that's just one aspect. But none of these cards in the present position are great cards. Okay, I'm hard pressed to find a good aspect to any of these cards, other than the warning that they come with, because you have the opportunity to do something about your situation. None of these cards represents any type of finality. Okay, so it's just the breaks. We all go through times where things are just not as great as we would like them to be. So we move into the future, and we have the Justice card. Okay, the next card is the Queen of Rods, or the Queen of Wands. And then the next card is the Hierophant. So the Justice card is the card of fairness and justice, okay? It's saying whatever situation you're in will eventually work out in your favor. It represents being totally honest and taking responsibility for your relationship and the state that it's in now. All right? So basically, the Justice card comes in, and it's almost like Judgment, except this is more about judgment can sometimes strike, and it's not as fair and balanced as justice. Okay, so this is a card for you. This is saying that whatever was going on over here, okay, whatever this is, it's gonna work out. Don't even worry about it. All right, that's what justice is telling you, right? Don't even stress it, because I'm gonna come in, I've got my sword, I'm gonna take care of this, and I'm gonna be fair about it. Okay. And it's also represents harmony. Okay, it's the harmonizing of the feminine and the masculine energies. It could be within yourself, or it could be within the relationship, but there's basically going to be harmony here. And also, this is one of the kind of wedding cards. So in a reading, especially with the Hierophant, this can suggest marriage. This can suggest either a relationship that's going to evolve into marriage, or an impending marriage, or maybe a proposal. But these two cards together can indicate that the seriousness of this relationship. All right, so we move on to the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is determined, okay, attractive, kind. It's a positive energy. Okay, so it's fire, so it's like fertility and vitality. If it's a person, they have those qualities, okay? If it's you kind of exuding like the sex kitten, warm and charming type of personality. Your sex drive is very healthy, all right? If it's the relationship, then it can symbolize a strengthening of your bond, okay, and growth in the relationship. In the future position, this card is saying that you will overcome any obstacles despite what you are going through now. All right, so once again, let it go. Whatever it is that's eating you up, let it go. Let it out. Talk about it. Let it go. Okay? Because justice is here for you. The Hierophant, the Queen of Wands. All right? This is what you have to look forward to in the future. And to me, that looks pretty good. Okay? So this can also indicate that maybe you need to spice it up a little bit in the relationship. So in the future, you may need to be the Queen of Wands. You may need to be that, infuse some of that sexual energy into your relationship, especially if you've been going through a lot of this. You probably, probably haven't been having a lot of happy sex. Okay, so once this is passed, you're gonna want to, you want to get some good stuff going. You want some good. All right, so then we move on to the Hierophant, and the Hierophant represents conformity, kindness. Okay, this card brings stability and an element of commitment to the relationship, okay? Or it can suggest that you are having a traditional relationship and maybe you want to break the rules a little bit, okay? And that's fine. Everybody doesn't have to have a conventional relationship, but you have to do what works for you. And maybe that was part of what was causing you some of this worry and conflict over here, is because you're not in a typical sort of relationship. Once again, I don't know who I'm maybe talking to, but if you're seeing someone who's perhaps married and you were conflicted about whether you should be with this person or not, and you needed to make that decision, and you made the decision, and now here you guys are having this hot and sexy relationship, which is not considered quite conventional. That's one aspect. In another aspect, you guys got past whatever troubles you were going through, and there's nothing but commitment, right? Commitment, growth, and strengthening of your bond in the relationship. And there could be a wedding or marriage coming, okay? Also can represent spiritual love. All right, so when I say unconventional, not necessarily with cheating or anything that society kind of frowns upon. This could represent that you guys are spiritually connected. All right, it's not just it's not just not to say that you can't be a soulmate, but you guys are bonded more than just in a normal way. I'm not doing a good job of explaining this, but this represents a transcending kind of. So your relationship is transcending the norm. All right, you guys are very, very connected. So Pisces, I like this reading. I enjoyed it. I love readings that, kind of go up and down. And it does kind of tie into what's going on in my life, not necessarily, but aspects of it. And I did the quickie reading for all the signs, and they're up already. So you can check that out to see if it's a quick snapshot into your relationship just for this week. It's the weekly energies. So check out the quickie video, the quick and dirty I call them, and see if that gives you any insight into your weekly relationship energy. And I once again want to thank you again for joining me. And hopefully I will see you next video. Okay, Pisces? Be sure to thumbs up my video. And if you haven't subscribed to me, subscribe and, give me a chance. Okay, I hope you guys are enjoying your summer. I'm doing the best to enjoy mine. And I'll see you next time. Bye, Pisces.